New Beginning Empowerment Church, His Grace Bishop E.D. Richardson, ministering the journey of a promise.
Can I share with you the journey of a promise? The journey of a promise. Very important. In this wisdom empowerment session, I want you to identify where you are on your faith journey. Where are you right now concerning the promise of God? You got to hear this, that He made to you back when you were in, watch this, your Kadesh Barnea. You got to identify your Kadesh Barnea. Remember what Caleb said in this chapter. He began to remind Joshua of when he received the word. He says, we were in Kadesh Barnea. I remember the place, the location, as we were journeying through the wilderness. It's something that you don't ever forget. You don't forget a word given. I don't care if God's given you a word and you received it in your spirit, you don't forget that. That's something that no matter how much hell comes against you, and it doesn't matter how many years you have to go through, you don't forget what God promised you. When the Holy Spirit speaks a word of promise into your spirit, it does not matter how much you have to confront, how long you have to endure, what you have to come through. You will remember that word of promise until the day it manifests. I don't care who you are. If you have it locked down in your heart, if you received it in faith, the faith you received it in will not let you forget it. And in this schooling for ruling, I want you to roll your memory bank back if you can. And remember, there's something special, not just any blessing, but the blessing that's going to manifest the blessings. So when God has pronounced a blessing over you, there's something that must come into your life that's going to generate a flow of blessings. You got to hear that. And I need you to remind yourself, where was it? When was it? How far back has it been since my Kadesh Barnea? Where was my place that God spoke that prophetic word into my spirit? Because I held on to what God told me. I did what God told me. I was obedient to a mission. I was obedient to an instruction. I did not waver on what God assigned me to carry out. And I came back to God and said, it is so because you said so. Where was your Kadesh Barnea? What is Kadesh Barnea, Bishop, in essence? It's a place in your life that is also known as a dry season. It's a place in your life that is also known as a dry season. Ain't nothing really jumping off in your life. You can't make anything happen, so to speak, no matter what your intellectual status is. It does not matter what your connections in life are. It does not matter how much you have already known and do know. When you are in your dry place, your dry season, ain't nothing jumping off in your life. You can't manufacture a blessing. All you can do is depend on, so to speak, if you allow me to use it for reference sake, the mercy of God. When Israel was coming through their dry place, all they could do was depend on the mercy of God. They couldn't make nothing grow. They were in a dry place. They were in a desert. Don't want nothing growing out there but cactus, so they couldn't make nothing grow. I hope you understand what I'm telling you, because I'm running parallelisms concerning your life personally and your spiritual life in particularly. Where were you when God spoke a prophetic word to you concerning what you were coming into, and you were in a place at the time where you couldn't do anything but just rest in His mercy? Kadesh Barnea is a place nobody likes to live. It's a place nobody wants to see in their life, but it's a place every believer that walks by faith must go through. You're going to experience your Kadesh Barnea before you ever come to your Karath Jabba. Are you here tonight? So I need you to understand then that it's at that place where your heart must indict a good thing. It's at that place where your heart must latch on to the word of promise that comes out of the mouth of God. You have to notice the talk that Caleb was talking to Joshua. He says Moses said it. Then he went on in this conversation. He says Moses spoke what the Lord said. The Lord gave Moses a word to us. He says, Joshua, you were there, so you know what I'm talking about. It was you and I that came back off the mission trip with the report that all things are possible to him that believes. It was our other 10 brothers that said, I don't know if we can or not. It looks impossible, and I don't believe that we can do it. I've seen over the years of this ministry, literally hundreds and hundreds of people come in and out of those doors that did not believe the words that were coming out of my mouth. And over the same course of years, I found myself left with just a handful of people that have stumbled through the journey, that have made it through the times, toiling and pressing, and they're holding on to a word of promise that they heard way back when. I need you to identify where you are. The question arises, when you're in that state of existence, where will I see, when will I see, and what was I promised? Where would I see it? When would I see it? What was I promised? Bishop, I know I was promised this. Where am I going to see it? What is going to be the location? When would I see it? That's the question that arises. And it's in Kadesh Barnea that you have to wrestle with the spirit of doubt. You have to wrestle with the spirit of unbelief that's operating all around you. You hear me? Caleb and Joshua had to wrestle with doubt and unbelief. Doubt and unbelief are powerful dual spirits that works in tandem to overthrow your faith. The question is, can you override the doubt that you're hearing? Can you override the doubt that you're seeing? Can you maintain? I'm not talking about for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. Caleb had to maintain it for 45 years, 4.5 decades. By that time, the majority of you know, I almost can believe that all of you would have been given up. How can you hold on to your faith? The words are spoken unto you for 45 years. We think Abraham and Sarah went through something for a quarter of a century. Caleb had to hold on to it for almost a half a century. And yet, he was mindful of what Moses spoke to him. Can you imagine even now waking up day after day, month after month, year after year, and nothing is changing in your life concerning what God promised you? Can you imagine waking up and you still got a sharecrop for somebody else? You still got to work on borrowed land, so to speak, because your promised land has not yet manifested. I made it past Kadesh Barnea, but I still haven't seen my promises yet. And if that's the case, if you're along with me in this area of your life right now on your journey of the promise, I got some good news for you. Slap somebody high five and say, Bishop, got good news. Because if you come through your dry place, ladies and gentlemen, you must be approaching your modern day Gilgal. Did you hear what I said? If you come through your dry place, you must be approaching your modern day Gilgal. It's the place where the wheels start turning. Gilgal literally is a place where things start happening. Gilgal is the place where stuff goes into motion. Gilgal is the place where you begin to see the shift takes place. Things go from this to that at Gilgal. Gilgal is the place where you begin to explore what's coming next concerning the promises. You see at Gilgal everybody else getting blessed, but you haven't gotten yours just yet. I want to pose a question. While you see your brother and sister getting blessed, how are you going to act? Because if you don't recognize that if they getting blessed and I'm seeing it, we got to be in the same place. You got to miss something if you don't hear something. Y'all, you're hearing this here. Caleb is watching Joshua bless the other nations, but he ain't got nothing. But yet they all in the same city. If you're in the same place and watching your brother or sister get blessed, I'm serving notice on you. Don't get no wrong attitude about the blessing that you see somebody else get. If anything, you ought to leap on your feet and start shouting and praising God, because if I can see you getting yours, that lets me know I'm in the right place, because mine's gotta be. Slap somebody high five, say he's God or more than enough. Why do you need to be jealous of somebody else's blessing? He's God or more than enough. And if they're getting blessed and you see it, that's a sign that you're in the right place.
End Time Outreach Incorporated appreciates you for seeing the needs of others. We're asking you to become a Vision Clarity Partner. A Vision Clarity Partner sees every child, every family clear concerning the needs they have. In Mark 8, verse 25, there was a man that Jesus prayed for his blindness. It says that after that, he saw every man clearly. By becoming a Vision Clarity Partner, you're making a bold statement that you clearly see the vision and you're going to do something about it by becoming a monthly partner with a seed of $25 or more. Go to www.endtimeinc.com and click on Givelify. End Time Outreach Incorporated wants to thank all of our partners for seeing the need and sowing the seed.